Surat al-Mursalat, chapter of those that are sent. In the name of Allah, the merciful, the compassionate, by those that are sent gently, and those that come with hurricane blast, by those that scatter abroad, and those that divide asunder, and those that drop reminders as excuse or warning. Verily what ye are promised is going to happen. So when the stars are blotted out, when the heaven is opened, when the mountains are reduced to powder, when the messengers are given their time, for what day is the appointment made? For the day of distinction. What has let thee know what is the day of distinction? Woe that day to those who count false. Did we not destroy those of olden time? Then we cause to follow them, those of latter times. And thus do we do with the sinners. Woe that day to those who count false. Did we not create you from water shameful, which we placed in a depository safe until a limit known? We fixed the limit, and well was the limit fixed. Woe that day to those who count false. Did we not make the earth an inclusive place, twixt living and dead, and set in it lofty peaks, and gave you to drink of water fresh? Woe that day to those who count false. Depart to that which ye have been counting false. Depart to a shadow three-branched, which shades not and aids not against the flame. Lo, it throws out sparks, each like a castle, as if it were camel's tawny. Woe to that day to those who count false. This is a day on which they do not speak, nor are they allowed to excuse themselves. Woe that day to those who count false. This is the day of distinction. We have brought together you and those of olden times. So if ye have any stratagem, use it against me now. Woe that day to those that count false. Lo, the pious are mid shades and springs, and fruits of whatever kind they desire, eat and drink with relish for what ye have been doing, and thus do we recompense those who do well. Woe that day to those who count false, eat and enjoy life for a little. Verily ye are sinners. Woe that day to those who count false. When one says to them, bow down, they bow not down. Woe that day to those who count false. So in what kind of discourse will they thereafter believe? And so the hadith, that's the final discourse, as in something contrary to it, you don't accept. It's the mark, anything good or true. And no one's been able to challenge me with anything contrary. Now, things that people like or whatever, that's different. But anything good or true, the Qur'an's going to support it. And we find, interestingly enough, with this chapter, kind of like a tree of how things can go wrong. But the left hand of the tree, the book in stone, you could say it, where you just do what you're told and not what you're told not to, and that's enough. So, you know, that's where we start. Now, and you know, that's where we start being redeemed.